I'd like to say good evening to everyone. I am Councilmember Denise Adams of the North Ward, and I'm here to stand in the shoes of Mrs. Rand, which I can't do that, but I'm going to try. We'd like to welcome you to the Outstanding Women Leaders Reunion. We got some very exciting speakers on our program this evening. And, you know, we know how busy all of you are, but again, it is very much appreciated that you are here. And again, we'd like to welcome you here to this wonderful campus. Again, we'd like to thank the Chancellor and Mrs. Reeves, Dr. Ms. Reeves, for letting us be here today. And we have special tributes that are going to be done by Nell Britton, Naomi Jones, and Dana Suggs as follows. Thank you.
Before I begin, may I ask the people who were at the 2003, were honored in 2003. Is there anybody? Oh, great. Okay. What about 2012? The last ones. Okay, great. Now, what about all in between? Raise your hand. I'm going to turn this around today. This evening's reunion marks the 10th anniversary of honoring outstanding women of the community, outstanding women leaders who reached high goals, and each year their stories were honored and told. We have honorees from 2003 to 2012, but today I have a different story to tell. Just imagine in this month of July, beautiful birds in V formation fly, each bird reaching her life's ambition, with the lead bird the helm of the V position. Each bird is an outstanding leader also, able to follow where the lead bird will go. The left flank flutters harder when they turn to the right, and the right vice versa to keep up with the flight. The lead bird glides from amidst clouds and trees and recognizes the other birds' different abilities. Up, and across the clear blue sky as they outstandingly fly, gracefully in the V formation. It is an acknowledgement of God's creation. Now, remember in this month of July, 2003, Dr. Vivian H. Burst released us to fly. It was her idea, and she took the lead to honor outstanding women who succeed. She is such an outstanding woman herself that she chose to recognize everybody else, to give each woman the opportunity to experience her reality. This year, we have to honor and thank the partnering of Piedmont Federal Savings Bank, the honorees that have returned overwhelmed, and Vivian, the outstanding woman at the helm. It is life, imitating life, the greater part of our strife. The V formation of birds' frames imitated by pilots with airplanes. Though we chirp, honor, and sing, when with love she spreads her wings and embraces us with adoration, then leads us on in the Vivian formation. The life of family friend, Mayor Pro Tem, council member, Public Safety Committee Chair, Sarah, founder of VPAR, teacher, school counselor, motivational speaker, educator, politician, patron of the arts and other foundations, and believed in Christianity. She was more than just all that she could be. But the Vivian formation is too vast to mention every single task. Vivian, you bring sunshine to us and every woman's occupation. You are another example of God's creation.
Good evening. Good evening. Well, I guess you know I can't top that. So I'll just come from a way that I know Vivian. Vivian and I have been friends long before she decided to go into politics. And you would not want a better friend than Vivian. She is a smart person, smart lady. And she does everything just right. And if anything is wrong, she's going to let you know about it in no uncertain terms. But she's good. Yes, she is a courageous person. She does not mind facing anybody, anything, anywhere. When Vivian knows that she is correct, there can be 10,000 on this side, and Vivian here, she will stand up against it. And that's what I admire her for. She does not mind telling you that, oh no, you don't do it this way. This is the way it should be done. And of course, being a good friend to Vivian, I always do it the way she says it should be done. But anyway, I love Vivian. She's just like that sister I never had. I can go to Vivian. Vivian, can you do this? Or Vivian, can you do that? Of course I can, Naomi. And she does it. And she is a good person to know. And Vivian has done so many things since she has been councilwoman, alderman first, and councilwoman. She has done so much for this neighborhood. She has done so much for this city and community. And she is not selfish. Any person, regardless to what ward they're in, can say, Mrs. Burke, I need this or I need that. And no sooner said, and a telephone call is made, and it's done. So, and that's what I admire her for. I admired her for doing just what she said that she would do. I don't care what it is. You can always depend on Vivian to do it. And so we've gotten along very well. And, you know, she says something to me. But anyway, I'm not going to, I won't go into a whole lot of stuff. But anyway, I love Vivian, and I know Vivian loves me. And we are just like sisters. And thank you so much for taking up a little of your time.
Well, good afternoon, everyone. And it's good to see everybody here for our reunion. Now, I wasn't going to do this, but since someone else started, is anyone else from the 2004 year? I know it's not just me. I thought I saw someone else from 2004. Oh, man. Well, I'm here to proudly represent 2004. But I just think this is a really good idea, and I always felt really good about this program that Ms. Burke has started. It gives us a chance to meet one another and fellowship with one another, and and just feel good about ourselves and our accomplishments. And lately in the news, we've had good news about women in business. There's more of us in business now. There's more of us in executive positions, and that means there's more of us looking out for us, and that's really important. The journey is always important, and I feel good about our journey. Body and Soul has celebrated its 10th year this year, and I just feel really great about that, and I thank you all for your support. I think journeys are good. They remind us from where we came from, and it builds strength and endurance, perseverance, and pride. And when I think about those qualities, of course, I think about Ms. Burke. I'm not exactly sure how or when we met, but I've been here in Winston now for about 20 years, and I'm thinking it was my husband that introduced me to you, and I'm so glad that he did. It's just been wonderful for me as an individual being here to know this lady. She comes in my store, and I think sometimes she pretends that she's coming to get a flower, which I really appreciate. But really, she's always educating me and schooling me and making me feel good about what I'm doing and just, encouraging me. And it's been a challenging time for all of us, for all of our journeys. And to have someone to come in and check up on you, to see how you're doing, just makes me feel really good and encourages me. And I know I'm not alone on that, although I feel very special. She makes me feel very special. And since my mother doesn't live here, whenever I have mother-type programs, I always invite Ms. Burke to be my step-in mother. And it feels great to have her to do that. We all know that Ms. Burke is very opinionated, which I appreciate. It's important for someone to be around you when you're in business that tells you the truth and tells you like it is. She's always been very willful and shrewd. It's nice to chit-chat, but she always, as I said, she always gives it to me straight. And that's important for us as women in business to have it straight. And as someone else said, just very intellectual, and I always appreciate our conversations with me. She's also very sincere. If you get to know that side of her, she reveals that side. She's a very sincere person and does so many noble deeds for us that we don't even know about, and that makes me feel good. Sometimes I may not be having a great day, but when I see her coming, no matter what I'm going through, I already know what she's gone through. So I need to just pick myself up, get it together, because here comes Ms. Burke, and she doesn't want to hear any of that pity conversation. So I love her for that. And I appreciate her for that. And I'm just really glad that she's in our lives because she's made such a difference for all of us, and just happy to have her. I just wanted to present you with something. I was thinking, what do you give a woman who has really everything? When she wears beige, she has on her pearls. I don't know if y'all noticed that. When she wears green, she has her emeralds on. So what do you get a woman that has it all, has everything? I like to say a gift from Body and Soul.
That was great. It's always wonderful, and a lot of us take for granted that people are willing to come forth with kind words about you that you could actually hear. I know some people think that that's not the proper way to do it, but I think we need to get, as we were talking about the other night at committee meeting, more compassionate. You don't wait till people leave, whether it's leave bodily, spirit, or go across the country to live. You need to let them know now how much that you appreciate them and whatever it is that they've done in your life, a kind word, a kind deed. I think we all can learn from that. And ladies, thank you so much. She truly is a queen. Next, we'll have the introduction of our speaker by Ms. Martha Wheelock, the Assistant City Manager of Winston-Salem.
Good evening. I cheated a little bit. Usually I do this off the cuff, but today I wanted to write out my words, so I brought my little cheat sheet here. It is always easy to introduce somebody in the room that everybody knows, admires, and respects. Giving full credit to all the awards, honors, and accomplishments that she has in a brief period of time is not, so I'm going to encapsulate a little bit. Our Mayor Pro Tem Burke has served the city of Winston-Salem and its community with a tireless will and never-ending passion for over 36 years. She's been involved in politics even longer than that. I remember riding around with her, and she told me a story about how she started as an election precinct captain before she ever ran for her own elected office. She's the founder of BPAL, I think Ms. Britton already mentioned that, and the North Carolina Black Municipal Officials Organization that is still very active and was here in our community just a couple months ago. Countless professional, civic, and community associations have benefited from her knowledge, advocacy and guidance, and direction in addressing the needs of our youth, encouraging volunteerism, pursuit of educational opportunities, and neighborhood and community beautification. During her career, she has served on over 30 community boards and professional organizations. Just this past April, she was awarded the Marguerite Adams Award for Social Justice and Human Rights by a particularly close organization to her, the Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority, and that was also held in Winston-Salem, and I got the honor of being there when she got that award. But a key area of focus for Dr. Burke has always been the recognition of women and their accomplishment in all walks of life. 11 years ago, Dr. Burke spearheaded the formation of this event for which tonight we celebrate our first decade of ladies that have been honored at this annual reception. The names included in your program are noteworthy and represent the role models and mentors for our future honorees. This year we reflect on all that has been accomplished by the women in this room, and we ready ourselves to continue and carry forward the mission of this reception. For those of us here, we know that the standards Dr. Burke has set for each of us are unyielding and unwavering. She demands excellence. You are outstanding women leaders, and please join me in welcoming and I almost said the, but we are all outstanding women leaders, but a most outstanding woman leader, Mayor Pro Tem Dr. Vivian H. Burke, as she reflects on her life, her values, and her commitment to all women.
Thank you. Thank you. Please sit down. I didn't know it was going to be about me. Where is Corrine Smith and Miss Spainhour Barefoot? I always call her name. She was boss. Where is she? Bowmaster. I taught her sister. Now you all didn't tell me this. Corrine sent me a program, and I didn't see Nelma Jones, Nell, or Dana's name on it. I see it tonight. And I want to tell you, it's not about me. I want you to understand this. It's not about me. It's about you. In this city, as I say to the city manager, you are responsible for 235 plus citizens. And I want to tell you, he does understand that, and he is genuinely concerned about what's happening to all of us, and when people can partner with us, how happy he is, our city manager. We probably have one of the strongest marketing departments around the country. Mr. McNeil manages that department with his staff. Mr. McNeil. And we see his staff right here taking pictures. And I saw Mr. Rich outside. And of course, we have where we have people who assist us and work with us directly. And I'm pleased that the person who works directly with me is Chris Mack. He's standing there. He wants to make sure everything's all right. This program got started 10 years ago when I was appointed to sit on the Tourism Development Authority. I suggested to Mr. McCoy that we would do things to recognize women. At that time, he assigned, I believe, Jennifer Evans, who's with the Tourism Visit Winston-Salem. And it was recognized by the state recognizing women. The first group of women we recognized in this community, we put emphasis on business, the economic impact that they make. And when it was carried to the state, the association recognized the Visit Winston-Salem for saying to women how much we appreciate you and we salute you for what you do to make a difference in this community. When I think about women, I think that women, no matter what the task may be, we always can endure. We can tolerate, we can take, no matter how hard. If it takes 36 hours to get a job done, we women can get it done. When I first became an elected official, it was not easy in City Hall. It was a place where they felt it was a man's world, Mr. City Manager. And I will not forget in emphasizing to Mr. Stewart about the role and responsibility for women, and women should be treated with dignity and respect. And the city manager assigned, he appointed a lady to be the administrative assistant in the city manager's office. And I observed that she was hanging up people's coats and getting them coffee. And I said, oh, no. Her job will not be to wait on you men. She will not hang up coats and get you coffee. She will be treated with respect. And if you look at our city with the employees we have, we truly believe that women, the woman's role is so important. And we don't even have people thinking. We're probably one of the few cities who have moved women into positions. When Ms. Bullock came up here, an assistant city manager, and I tell the city manager all the time, she's very smart. She's a very good, well-trained, and works very hard, a very understanding and loving people, all people in the city, and that's what we need. And when you look at the women on the program, you heard from Councilwoman Adams, and you will hear from Councilwoman Murchell, and you'll hear from Councilwoman Light. Now, the city manager and his staff, they're very smart people. They know that we women mean what we say, and we say what we mean. And when somebody was talking about the telephone calls, in my mind, I thought about the city manager, because when you call me, we women, we get the job done. And we don't second step and half step, we step all the way. I knew I wouldn't have to say much of a speech when Nell came up here. I talked with Nell, and I was telling Nell, I said, Nell, you know what I think I'll do? I'll speak about women and Nell not one time said to me, I'm going to be on the program. I said, I would use, and Naomi was in my house yesterday. And here they stand, and Dana, I believe I saw you too this week. And not a one of them said they were going to be on the program. And I want you three ladies to know how much I appreciate those thoughts. I want the city manager to know, with Mr. McNeil and his staff, how much I appreciate the staff assisting us, elected women on the council, for helping us to put a program like this out into the community and to let women know how much we appreciate you, and we know that your job is difficult and that you meet many challenges, and that this city will work with you and be with you as you move into your jobs. We're always saying, let us have partners and let us work with you so that we can help you. I'm just going to talk about two women, and I'm going to sit down. I thought about Deborah in the Bible. And you know, Deborah was a most courageous woman with a lot of wisdom. And Deborah was a warrior. And she was on the judge. And she called Barak and told him, I want you to, I'm not talking about the Barack, you know, the president. She said to the Barack then, before 10 BC, and because she was around the 1150 BC, so the Barack who was there, and she said to him, I want you to get me an army together. And of course he questioned that because he didn't feel that he should follow a woman. But then this is what he said. He said, if you go with me, I will be your warrior, I will be your head. And of course she went with him. And of course we know the story. Then I thought about another woman that we may can identify with, and that woman happens to be Sojourner Truth. Now, back in 1890-something, or maybe before, this woman was struggling. And she put out the story, Ain't I a Woman? And she said, I'm the mother of 13 children. I've seen them sold off, and I've had grief in my heart when a mother's child has to be sold. She said, but ain't I a woman? She said, I can plow like a man, but I am a woman. So she went to a little gathering where women were. And of course she was a little in a place where she was not most comfortable. But she felt God was giving her strength. And she looked at some other women trying to carry out the meeting. And of course they had some men folks sort of sniggering as they were trying to carry out their jobs, wanting to say that we women, we have a place. But this is what she said, and I want us to always keep this in mind. She said, I don't know what you call that you have in your head, and somebody whispered intellect. But what she was saying, God may have given me a small amount and given you a larger amount, but we can work together. And when I think about women years ago in this city, a group of us went down to Chapel Hill to let this state know that we women were not going to step back. We were going to move forward. And at that time, white women were beginning to speak up and speak out, and they stopped being so meek. They decided that, look, I want my place too. And another thing they were saying, and I want y'all to keep this in mind, the women are more wealthy than the men in this country. So why should we be with these men and we have the money and they're going to try to tell us how to? So women, they started stepping out a little bit. And that place down at Chapel Hill, it was full of women. And there were more white women than black women. And they were letting some of the, I guess, legislators know what they expected and what they did not want to continue to tolerate. And this man got up. He said, oh, we understand. Women can do beautification, and they can do, and why did he say, and one lady said, we're getting out of the kitchen. We don't intend to do any beautification. We want to do things that can make a difference. And we as women know this. We will be with each other. It doesn't have anything to do with the color of our skin. Women hurt and understand things differently. And because of the way we understand things, that's why we can come together. And we can think about, even as far as Mrs. Roosevelt, how she felt women ought to be involved. And she moved out. And then we can even go as talk about when Mrs. Clinton became the wife of a president, how she felt the role of women. And we can even look all around this country and go out of this country and see that women are working together. Women are being there for each other because we have in our hearts love, kindness, understanding, togetherness, and for each other. And I would hope that God will just bless us. And I thank you so much for making this occasion what it is this evening. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem Burke. Again, the legacy that you've already left us is more than we could ever just thank you for. We support everything that you do, and we hope you'll continue to do all these good works in the community. And again, leave a lasting legacy just like you have. I don't think anybody is going to beat that record of 36 years. I don't. It's phenomenal. It's phenomenal. We're going to have next remarks from our sponsor, special presentation from Wanda Marshall, the Senior Vice President of Piedmont Federal Savings Bank here in Northwest Winston-Salem. And she's also the chair of our Finance Committee, so you know she knows about the money.
Well, I just want to say, first of all, can I get an amen? Amen. And I will be retiring from the council in December, but I think I have found myself a new part-time job. And that's managing Councilmember Burke's speaking engagements. So please feel free to give me a call at Piedmont Federal and we can work out a schedule for you. I wear a couple of hats tonight, so on behalf of the Board of Directors and officers and staff of Piedmont Federal, it is our pleasure to be the official sponsor for the 10th anniversary of Outstanding Women Leaders. I was looking at the board out in the lobby, and Vivian, I've got to tell you, I just barely made it in. I think I was inducted in 2010, so, and I thank you for that. When my daughter was 16 or 17, I guess, and I'm not very domestic, but I did find something that I thought I needed to do a little counted cross stitch on. So I worked on it all year and I gave it to her at the holidays, and it says, and I've counted the number of women to men, so I'm feeling pretty good I can get away with this. A woman has to work twice as hard to be considered half as good as a man. Fortunately, it isn't difficult. I want to share one story about Vivian Burke, council member, mayor pro tem, and public safety chair. I didn't realize that when I first came on council 16 years ago, Vivian had been on council for 20 years, which is an unfathomable accomplishment in the time and the fortitude and just the what my grandmother would call grit to get up every day and do the job. But I was very inexperienced, but I was eager to learn, and Vivian called me and said, you know, I think it might be a good idea for us to ride each other's ward. So as a very junior member of the Board of Aldermen at the time, she had extended that hand of being a mentor, being a devoted council member, and we rode her ward the first time, and Vivian could stop at a stop sign and see anybody and would roll the window down, and they would walk over to the car and say, Ms. Burke, how are you today? And without hesitation, she was just as likely if we stopped and saw some young folk out, you know, during the day, she would stop and say, wave them over to the car and say, now, where are you in school and why aren't you there? So from the very early days of my career, I looked to her as a mentor, and one thing she taught me very, very early on, and that was, do you have your votes? And for council members and other electeds, they know how important that is. A very simple question. Do you have your votes? Well, it has been my privilege to serve with you, Vivian, and also, again, on behalf of Piedmont Federal Savings Bank, who we have sought your good counsel, and we appreciate that. I would like to present to you a small acknowledgement. And if I could ask the other council members and the city manager to join me for this. And I came off without my glasses, but I think Certificate of Recognition presented to Vivian H. Burke, Mayor Pro Tem, Northeast Ward Council Member, in recognition of your outstanding leadership and service to our community, dated Thursday, July the 11th, 2013, on behalf of Piedmont Federal and the community at large. Thank you.
Thank you. I am appreciative. I did not know it was going to be about me. When they were planning the program, it's about you. How many of you ladies know it's about you? Because if I couldn't stand here if you had not done and will continue to do what you're doing to make this difference. Some years ago when I met Wanda, I would tell Wanda, you're going to be my top student, Wanda. That's right. I said, Wanda, you're going to be my top student because you will listen to me and you will obey, Wanda. I said, don't pay them other ones any attention now. And so Wanda and I became good friends. See, it doesn't matter when women are together and they have a common interest, how friendship can be developed. She has been, I really hated it when she said she was not going to run again because she has one of the top jobs in the banking business, and she's been very kind-hearted with community outreach, and she's been an excellent finance chair. Whenever we look at the agencies who would like for us to do things, she initiated early on, well, I will visit each agency and discuss with them their budget to make sure the city is spending the money wisely and we're doing the right thing. Also, she has worked hard to make sure that we keep the departments that we provide in services to the citizens, and that we are not second class in how we do it, but we are first class. She's been an excellent person to know and an excellent person to be there for you. I thought you all was having my funeral a few minutes ago. What's going on? Do you all know something that I don't know? Do you all know something I don't know? But I want to say, Wanda, would you please come up and let you know how much we appreciate you as I present this certificate of appreciation to Wanda Merchant, Senior Vice President, Piedmont Federal Savings Bank, Northwest Ward Council Member, for rendering excellent service to the citizens of Winston-Salem. In recognition of your dedicated service to our community and appreciation for your outstanding leadership as Chairman of the Finance Committee, taking the initiative to work with a no-growth budget and working hard to keep taxes down. This is the 11th day of July. Come up, council people and city managers, so we can get this one.
Thank you. Thank you very much. You know, for 16 years, I'm not accustomed to people being this nice to me, honestly. So if I get a little teary, but it has been my pleasure, and I still have until December. Yes. So Lee, the work's not over yet. But I want to thank Vivian for, most importantly, her friendship. So
Thank you. Thank you.
What can I say after all of that? Try not to cry. But I will tell you, just as a personal aside, that certainly for a young council member, Mrs. Burke has been a mentor and advisor, and she even told me the trick of carrying frozen peas in my purse so I wouldn't have hot flashes in front of everybody. certainly she has been the historical memory for the city council, and boy, she knows where every skeleton in the closets in Winston-Salem are. But at any rate, it has been a pleasure to be here, a pleasure to for the accolades for Mrs. Burke, and for all of you wonderful women. So thank you for coming, and good night.